we got an idea about what is Ohm's law and how voltage, current and resistance in a circuit are related. So, how can we find or practically verify any material or any devices that obeys Ohm's law or not? So, according to Ohm's law, we know that any material, let's take a winding of wire, if we are applying a potential difference across this wire, let's say the potential difference, that is the voltage V across this wire, what will happen? Because of this, current will start flowing through this windings, right? So according to Ohm's law, we know that V equal to I into R, or voltage by current is equal to resistance. So what is R here? It's the property of material, right? It is representing the resistance of material. So this is the resistance of that material offers to the flow of charge or the flow of current through that material. It does not depend upon the value of voltage and current. For any given material, this value, the value of resistance should not be changed. It should be a constant value. So that is what is Ohm's law is saying. It is in an ideal case, but in a practical case, we will not get the constant resistance for every time. So if we need to check any material or any devices that obey Ohm's law, what we will check? We need to check whether the ratio of voltage and current through a material, it's a constant value, which means V by I equal to constant or resistant, constant resistor. What will happen? If we are doubling voltage value, the current value also will get doubled. If we are tripling the voltage value, the value of current, the value of I must also get tripled. So I will show this by using a graph. So I am plotting current in x-axis and voltage in y-axis. Let's say we put a value of voltage 2 volt. Let's take 2 volt. Imagine the current turn out 1 ampere. When we are applying 2 volt, we are getting 1 ampere current. So I am plotting 1 ampere here. So this is the point. If Ohm's law is valid, if I double the voltage into 4 volt, current also will get doubled, right? So I am doubling this voltage value. I am doubling into 4 volt. So at the time, current also will get double, which means 1 ampere becomes 2 ampere. So I am plotting here. This is the common point. So what will happen if I am tripling the voltage level? So I am tripling the voltage level. So the voltage become 6 volt. At the time, my current value also will get tripled. So it will become 3 ampere. So this is the point. So if you join all this point, what we will get? Let's check. If we are joining all these points, we will get a straight line, right? This straight line must pass through the origin. This is the origin, 0, 0 level. Why? Because if the voltage is 0, even the current must be what? 0. So that is what is the relationship is saying, right? So here, How we can check? We have to check the material or the device that obeys Ohm's law. So by using this graph. So if what you are doing is, if you are getting a straight line, we will say this device or this material that obeys Ohm's law. If it is not a straight line, we will say the Ohm's law is not valid. The Ohm's law is invalid. Once you plot a graph, from the graph we can calculate the resistance of material. So we know that by just dividing voltage by current, we will get the value of resistance. Suppose I am going to find the value of resistance here. So we know that the voltage value is 6 volt and the current value is, this is the voltage value, this is the current value. So current value is 3 ampere and voltage value is 6 volt. So we know that R is equal to V by I. So 6 by what? 3, which means 2 ohm. If you are checking any of this point, you will get a constant R. You can check here also. So here the voltage is 4. So R is equal to 4 by 2, which means 2 ampere. Similarly, this point. Here voltage is 2 and current is 1 ampere. So 2 by 1 is equal to 2 ampere. So throughout the straight line, we will get the same value of R, right? Just because it's a straight line. So the things that obey Ohm's law is called ohmic materials or ohmic devices, we used to say. So we can simply say that the devices which obeys Ohm's law is known as ohmic devices, which means if the voltage is getting increased, the current also will get increased. The example of ohmic devices are all conductors or metals are the example of ohmic devices. What will happen if you are not getting a straight line? If the Ohm's law is invalid for that particular metal or the particular device, what will happen? We used to say that it's non-ohmic devices. For example, we will not get a straight line. We will get something like this. So we will not get a similar resistance value also. So the devices doesn't obey Ohm's law is known as non-ohmic devices. For example, semiconductors. So any devices which is made by semiconductor, it's a non-ohmic devices. For example, LED bulbs is a non-ohmic devices. So we can say the material or the devices having a constant resistance which will obey Ohm's law, and that is known as ohmic devices. The material or the devices that is having resistance that changes with voltage and current. The resistance changes with voltage and current are non-ohmic devices. So this is how we can find the devices or material that is obey Ohm's law or not. Let's consider this circuit which is having a voltage source of 5 volt and the resistance is 10 ohm. So we have to find the current flowing through this circuit. So by using Ohm's law, we know that V equal to I into R. So here we have to find I, right? So we can simply go through this triangle V, I, R. So we have to find I. So I equal to V by R, right? So we know the values directly. So I equal to 5 by 10, which means 0.5 ampere. So this is the current value. Let's consider another example. We have a voltage source and resistor. The voltage value is 12 volt and the resistor value is let's assume the current flowing through a conductor is 2 ampere. So we have to find what is the value of resistance. So we know that R equal to, equation of R become V by I, which means 12 by 2, which is equal to 6 ohm resistor. So we can find or we can calculate anything among voltage, current and resistance by using Ohm's law. So basically Ohm's law is the relationship between voltage, current and resistance. If you know any of these two quantities, you can find the third one. And the devices that obeys Ohm's law, this voltage, current, resistance relationship effectively, we say that it's ohmic devices. And if it is the device doesn't obey Ohm's law, we will say that it's a non-ohmic devices. So basically Ohm's law, it's a fundamental principle that gives the relationship between voltage, resistance and current.